LegacyMaker, the All Sports Network, presents a SIRTOBA Media production where the struggle is real to be awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2.
The wait is over.
Are you giving it to Dale Earnhardt Jr. because he piggybacked off of his dad's name? The
Because
only
he
difference was
didn't-
because there was a junior at the end and not a
Yes, yes, and
Okay.
because the fact is, Drew, point with, oh my God,
I had Miami Heat winning last night. I was upset too when they lost. That's with you because of the fact of what you.
Get your popcorn ready. It's time for the In or Out sports debate with your hosts,
Jeremiah Quimby, Darrell Owens,
and Drew Willingham.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the In or Out sports debate. I am your host, Drew Willingham, along with this week's special guest. Returning from episode 17, we have the former Mr. Rollback, Darrell Owens, along with this week's first ever guest for episode 29. He is the other half of the LegacyMaker Sports podcast with Darrell Owens, as well as the other half of the LegacyMaker Sports Network that started this out. He is Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. Welcome to the In or Out sports debate, fellas.
What's up, brother? Hey, look, Jay's upside down.
Jay's ready to get this party started
Jay
upside
is
down.
like, it's going to be beautiful.
Well, welcome aboard, fellas. We've got the
what the hell's wrong with me?
He got stuck, Drew. He got stuck.
This is like one of those Life Alert commercials where he's falling and he can't get up. But yeah, Jay, welcome to the show. While he figures out what's happening, we're going to go ahead and get started with where we always do, with acknowledging the Vault of Fame.
Acknowledge me.
And here in the In or Out Sports Debate Vault of Fame, we acknowledge the previous participants here on the In or Out Sports Debate here in the Vault of Fame. And starting out with episodes 1 through 11, we have Rob Johnson here with the first 1 through 11. Tyron Montgomery Jr. here for episode 12. Episode 13, the other half of the Undisputed Champions, Corey Mann was here. Episode 14, the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony was here for episode 14. Episode 15, Tyron Montgomery Jr. returned for an All-NBA edition. Episode 16, the Snowman from Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, Brian Snow was here. Episode 17 was Mr. Rollback, Darrell Owens. Episode 18, Brian H. Waters of the Wrestling Realm was here. Episode 19, James Brown of the LegacyMaker Sports Network was here. Episode 20, Wale Akinso was here from Fox Sports Hopewell. Episode 21, we had the son of the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony, Xander Anthony, the kid NBA historian, was here for the second ever edition of the All-NBA edition here on the In or Out Sports Debate. Episode 22 was Wally, the other half of the Undisputed Champions, was here to discuss a lot of sports, including wrestling and football. Episode 23, our man, Paul Schofield, was here for episode 23. LMSN alumni was here for that episode. Episode 24, Corey Mann returned from episode 13 to come back here for episode 24 to discuss a lot of sports as well. Episode 25, we had the man, Joe D., the other half of the Commonwealth Sports Talk with Lamont Thomas, here to discuss a lot of sports for episode 25. The other half of Mr. Jeremiah Quimby, BCQ, Becca Cottingham Quimby, was here for episode 26 for the first ever All NASCAR edition. Episode 27 last night was Mr. Lamont Thomas, as well as the other half of the Double Debate Monday with James Brown returning for an episode 28. Today is Double Debate Tuesday as we are here for episode 29. Following that tonight as well, we have Ellis Pollard, professional wrestler, here for episode 30. Guys, we are already at episode 30. This is wild. And here are the handles which you can check out the In or Out Sports Debate. Not only here, but you can check us out here as well as the LegacyMaker Sports Network at LegacyMakerSports.com and all of the social media platforms there. Guys, I know that was a lot to get through. Thank you for sticking with me. That was some tongue twisters, but we have finally made it here for episode 29 tonight, live on the 26th. Jay is back, no longer sideways.
I'm
I
straight.
showed enough time to get him straight.
It's the upside down, Drew. A little Stranger Things going on here. That's all.
Hey, man, I should have named it the Stranger Things edition. It's never too late. It's never too late.
If the
Welcome
lights go
aboard,
out,
fellas.
I'm gonna scream. Just saying.
Becca, get a flashlight from my man. Have it ready to rock. We need him to stick ready. Get ready for this episode because we've got some bumpy roads ahead for the next 5 rounds. It is great to see you, Jay. I'm glad that all of us have made it here so far in this crazy pandemic. The last time Jay and I got together was for the WNBA finals. They screwed our credentials up and we got drunk. It was great. So
they're like, well, you can set. No, we don't have anything. It's like, oh wow, we just wasted a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was a bonding experience for one, and we got to go throw it down at TGF Fridays, which is no longer in business. I just noticed that the other day when I drove by. It was sad. I was working out in Midlothian. I drove past, and it was shut down.
The one on yeah. I saw that.
Midlothian Turnpike.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Just bad planning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it worked out for us on that day, though.
Oh,
on that day, it was great. But, guys, we have 5 great rounds to take this into. Let's go ahead and start this off with round 1.
Round 1.
We'll start this off with a team that Darrell knows very well, and that is his Green Bay Packers. With that being said, Alan Lazard will become Aaron Rodgers' #1 option at wide receiver and fill the void from the recent offseason departures. How do you feel about this, Darrell? Are you in or are you out on this?
I'm in. Yeah, Drew, when I go back and look at it, very crazy offseason for the Green Bay Packers. Obviously losing Devontae Adams is a very, very tough thing to do or have happened to you. Now, I'm very optimistic. If you look at Alan Lazard and what he did the last couple of games of the regular season last year, he really turned it on. He looked good. I was very excited about what I saw from Alan Lazard. Now, unfortunately, Aaron decided not to throw him the ball in the playoff game, which I'm still kind of baffled to this day. But that's another story for another day. I do think that he can come in and be the #1 guy for sure. I see that happening. I feel like he will be the #1 target. Now, will he be able to fill in the void? No, nobody's going to fill in the void. Devontae Adams at all. And then he's going to have to be #1 because, Sammy Watkins is already injured and we haven't even started the training camp. Training camp don't start till tomorrow, Drew. He's already hurt. And the training camp doesn't even start till tomorrow. So I'm definitely in on Alan Lazard. I think he's going to have a big year for Green Bay. But, yeah, man, yeah.
All Sammy had to do was this before he signed the paper, and then he wouldn't have gotten hurt. He had to stretch his fingers. But how do you feel about that, Jay? Do you agree with Darrell? Are you in or are you out on this one?
Before last year, I'd have been completely out on it. But his drop rate went from 10.9% to 1.7% last year. So I believe that he can help fill the void. Will he put up the numbers that Adams did? That's to be debated, but I think he'll help cushion the blow while the rookies learn the system. And don't forget, Cobb's back. He got his security blanket in the slot. So yeah, I'm in.
I guess the world is screwed because we're all in. Yeah, man. You don't have a choice because, like you guys said, with Darrell making that big point with Sammy Watkins, and like I followed it with, you got to stretch your fingers before you sign that paper, my man. We already know about your injury history. You're coming in here. You're just as bad as Christian McCaffrey when it comes out there with he looks the wrong way, tears his ACL. I mean, dude, it's ridiculous how you would think with all the advancements in technology and health and how you train your body that these incidents shouldn't be happening. It has to deal with genetics, but we might not be seeing them take care of themselves fully behind closed doors. We just don't know this because we're not there 24/7. So who knows? We can only go based on fact. And the fact that Sammy Watkins is already hurt before training camp, who else is going to fill in? Of course, he's got that security blanket in the slot with Cobb. But for a #1 wide receiver, you just lost a big weapon with Devontae Adams going to the Raiders. Big loss. And kind of disagree with what Devontae Adams been saying about how Derek Carr you can't really compare Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers. Okay, I take that with a grain of salt. He's definitely been drinking some of that Maui Wowie out there while he's been out there in Vegas. Yeah, so he's drinking that funny juice. So I don't know what he's got going on, but the fact that we are all in on this topic to start the show says a lot.
Yeah, I want to say this, Drew. I still think this Packers team is going to be good. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say that as a fan, but if you want any indication of what this Packers team will look like, and I said this on episode 17, go back and look at the Cardinals game last year. That's the Packers team that you're going to see all year long until they find or Allen Lazard can become that overall number one guy. Now, one guy I don't want to kind of forget about because he is coming back from an ACL himself is Tunyon. Tunyon scored 10 touchdowns the year before last and somehow didn't make the Pro Bowl. I got gypped over for Evan Ingram, who had 1 touchdown. But that's another argument. I won't get into that as well. But with Tunyon coming back, I do have a little bit of confidence on that security blanket front, man. I'm gonna be all right. I think we're gonna be all right. I just don't know how it's gonna work. Just thought I was gonna work.
Time will tell. I mean, the good thing is we get 1 extra game a season to see it, but it's kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. So we'll see how it works out for Aaron Rodgers. But with his back against the wall, I think we may potentially see a badder man because he's going to be forced to move it away from Devontae Adams. You're not going to have that one security blanket. You said security blanket with Cobb, but he's not going to have that one person that he knows that can carry the load. He's going to have to spread it out because he's going to have to see what the rest of the team can do because you're not going to have a chance to make it into the playoffs, let alone far into the playoffs without that.
Agreed.
So
and
with that, guys. Do what?
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to say it's been a while since we actually could question the offense for the Packers and say the defense is the better side.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're going to go to Aaron Jones a lot. It's going to be the Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon show. So we'll see a lot of that from Green Bay, and they'll sprinkle in the receivers. But Matt LaFleur is going to finally get to run the offense he wants to run, the old school San Francisco from a couple years ago. So we'll see how it goes.
It may, and I don't say it now, but we could eventually see it being a make or break situation with what you just said, being the fact that it's Matt LaFleur's offense. He gets a chance to run it the way he wants to. This could make or break the team. So he's not in a make or break situation for his job right now, but it could get to that point if things don't go well this season.
He just got that extension yesterday. Him and Goots both, they solid. They got a couple years. They solid.
Speaking of solidity, let's go on to round 2.
Round 2.
And I say that wholeheartedly as a Braves fan, guys. Freddie Freeman's former agent should be barred from client representation going forward. Look at this graphic right here before you even get started. I mean, this says it all. This is I took this out of the picture moment when he was back in Atlanta for the first time, and for his agent to do what he did to him, it was pretty tough just to see that, whether you're a fan of his or not. How do you feel about this, Jay? Are you in or out on that? On his agent should be barred?
I'm kind of split, but I'm gonna say I'm in because you got to tell your client you're representing that person, so you got to put it all on the table. And after seeing that, like when I first heard that he was leaving, I couldn't believe it. That it just didn't make sense to me because you knew where his passion and his love was, and his loyalty has always been there. And I will not bat an eye at the fact that next year he'll be back with the Braves.
So Jay's in and is strongly saying that he thinks that he's going back to the Braves next year. Before we get into my take, Darrell, how do you feel about this? Do you agree? Are you in or are you out?
I debated this all week, Drew. I really did. We got the topics last week. I was like,
That's why I try to pump them out as fast as I can. That way, in case you guys got any ideas and changes.
No, you good.
To think about it. Yeah,
you did the right thing. You did the right thing. I was debating it all week. And I'm in. The thing that bothered me the most about this, and we talked about it when you saw, that picture, the graphic that you posted, like he was so hurt, and you can see it in his eyes that he wanted to, he wanted to still be in Atlanta, and for his agent to do him like that, look, man, it was dirty. I would love to see him go back to Atlanta because I love that loyalty factor. I mean, he was there when they were struggling, when the Braves had went from being that great team. He was there struggling. He got to this point, and now that they're world champs. And I just hate for the fact that he didn't even get the opportunity to say yes or no, or to say he was in or out on going back to the Atlanta Braves. So I mean, I'm in. I mean, his agent ought to be ashamed of himself. Shame.
Way to use that pun, man. I like that. You did well. I love that. But and I was going back and forth with this. He should be barred, in my opinion. I mean, this is dirty dealings right there for you to put your trust in someone that's going to help you sign your deals, your livelihood for your family, for your friends, for yourself. It's no matter what I'm doing. Like, I spend my time to do stuff, and I just like my video productions. I do the damn best job I can because I want to provide entertainment for whoever's watching this, whether it's 1 or 100 people. Okay, all of you that spend time to watch this is all for entertainment. It's the same thing when they go out there and they play baseball. They can't do it 100% wholeheartedly when they know this is how their business dealings were done, and they're going out there playing false hopes for a team that they wanted them, but he didn't necessarily want to be there. It's not their fault. But he would love to be in Atlanta. That's where he started out. That's where he just got a ring. He was a fan of the Braves his entire life. So when you find out that what you thought your team didn't match the deal, of course, for your livelihood, you're going to go LA. Then you come back that first trip back and you find out the truth, the hard truth. That's tough, man. That's really, really hard to swallow. And of course, you're going to fire your agent. And of course, nobody else should trust you in that moment because you just did a slide dealing for yourself to get a bigger cut of the pie. The agent got more money that way if he took that deal. And even though the Braves would have matched it, that's the sad part. The Braves told him we would have matched that number, and we came back with it. But you didn't take that number because of what the agent did. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and you gotta choose wisely with your representation and what you thought your trust was in someone to do that. And you couldn't do that. And unfortunately, that's why you got to let him go. And this guy should be treated like Pete Rose was treated when he got caught for gambling. That's not even that big of a deal now in 2022. Betting on your own team, yes. But the fact that he was gambling and you treated him that way, and this guy did what he did to Freddie, he should never be allowed to represent anybody else.
Exactly. Opinion. And you said the perfect word, represent. Your agent represents you. And for him to do that 100% he needs to be gone.
As you know, the crazy thing about it, I saw the other day that he's suing Doug Godley because I guess Godley was the one that, dropped the hammer on this. So the agent is suing him because of, everything that's going on. It's your fault. Like, it's your fault, bro. Like, you did this to this man. You're mad because you got exposed, and that's the way you're going to respond to that? Man, get out of here with that crap, bro. Get out of here.
If LeBron James is going to leave our boy Snowman alone for his bronze sexual segment on his show, then you need to leave this man alone because all he did was drop straight facts. So if LeBron's leaving Snowman alone, then you got to leave. You got to let this go, dude.
Snowman
You're in the wrong.
LeBron,
all right.
Snowman hates LeBron.
Yeah, he so hates LeBron, man. When I was on the show last time, I was like, I don't like LeBron, but I'm kind of uncomfortable even hating on him this much, Snowman. Like, I hating on this bad. Like,
yeah,
of course, MJ is number one, but we got to tone it down a little bit. But
nope, he hates
with that said, let's keep it fresh. We got some breaking news, fellas. And that breaking news is this. Next week, the best of the first episodes of 1 through 25 will be here in 5 volumes, Monday and Tuesday. 3 episodes on Monday at 6, 7, 8 o'clock. First volumes will have 1 through 5, 6 through 10, and 11 through 15. 16 through 20 and 21 through 25 will be the following day at 7 and 8 o'clock. Each episode, just like, for example, 1 through 5 will have the best round of each show, which will basically be in the format of a show. And from putting it all together, guys, it was pretty entertaining for me. And, sometimes it's a chore putting videos together, and this was pretty fun. So if you have the time next week, and it's always on, you can always go back and replay it. Check out the In or Out Sports Debate. You'll see Darrell there, Volume 4, with his episode in episode 20. Episode 17, 16 through 20 was the volume he was in. So it's definitely going to be good. Eventually, you can go back and see this one. in the other episodes, but I only had enough time to get the first 5 out. So other than that, we have another round to get into, and that is round 3 for a team that Jay knows very well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Round 3.
And here with round 3, Leonard Fournette gaining 30 pounds during the offseason is a huge problem for the Bucs offense this upcoming season. How do you feel about this, Jay? Are you in or are you out on this?
There's still discrepancies on what type of weight it is. We haven't heard if it's muscle or if it's Bojangles. So I mean, if it's bad, the man's only 6 foot, and to be the number 1 running back now that Jones is gone, we drafted a guy that is very close to what James White was when he came out of college. So it's a big problem. So I'm in on it because you want your playoff guy to be there, be prepared, and you're paying him a butt ton of money, not to show up, hi, I was down to Buffet Beach. No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off too soon. I thought.
You're all right, man.
But Jay's in, and I, before we even get to Darrell, I'm going to agree with this too. I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm in on this too. Hey man, whether it's muscle or the Bojangles, like you said, there's still a lot more weight to put on those legs as a running back. You're a running back. You're not a tight end. You're not blocking. You're not really known as a blocking running back. So what'd you put that weight on for? I mean, this isn't the 2020 and the pandemic year where everybody was sitting around drinking beer, eating Cheetos for the first few months and watching TV because they weren't doing anything. So this isn't that time to be putting the weight on. Tom Brady's trying to get his 8th ring, trying to go out there one last time and get one more ring. And you're going to throw on 30 pounds? Did TB12 tell you to put on that weight? I don't see a report from Tom Brady saying it was okay for you to put on 30 pounds. So until then, I'm not buying it. I'm in on this too. How do you feel about it, Darrell?
I am out.
Oh. The floor is yours.
All right, so let's look at it like this. Obviously, you don't want your running back to gain 30 pounds. Now, I know that I saw a report that Fournette himself has refuted that he gained 30 pounds. Now, he could be just protecting himself on that end, so on and so on. But in the end, it doesn't matter. Why? Because Thomas Edward Brady always finds a way. That organization is probably being ran the best it's been ran in years, since we're talking, obviously since the Dungy days. And what I see right now is that even if he doesn't come to play, they're gonna find a running back that's gonna come in and do the work. That's just how that team and a Tom Brady team works. So yeah, I mean, God, we want to have Leonard Fournette at 1,000%. If you're the Quimbys of the world, you want him at 1,000%. But guess what? You really don't need him at 1,000% because Thomas Brady will find a way. He's done it for years to find a way to look around there. And Jay mentioned it himself. The young guy that they got in the draft. If you go back and look at those Patriot teams, he loved James White. He loved his Kevin Fultz. If he can get a guy like that, he still got Giovanni Bernard back there. So that's why I said, like, they're going to be fine. He'll find a way to supplement for that running game if he can just get a little bit from the other guys. So that's why I'm out. You
know what the running back's last name is? His
White.
name is Rashad White.
Yes, his last name is White. Yes.
How do you feel about Kyle Rudolph coming to the Bucs?
Nah, fuck it.
How many more people? I mean,
well,
they like
I like the leadership about it, but for me, we drafted 2 tight ends. Cameron Brate's getting paid a lot of money. I didn't see the need because now one of the tight ends we drafted with I know it's a 3rd day pick, but it was 4th round. We moved up to get the dude, might not make the team. So It don't make sense.
Between that and Julio Jones, we just recently heard about today, there's a lot of wild decisions they're making there. And
we got the 2012 all NFL team right now. Next will be AJ Green or some shit.
With that, we do actually have a lot of comments to acknowledge here that we can probably brush up with what we were just talking about a little bit more with the comments. Let's go to the fans, Medial Mayhem. From a new fan on YouTube that we've had ever since the Undisputed Champions were here, the Chosen One starts out with, "What's up, fellas?" He's been pretty animated here lately, so it's going to be interesting to see what else he's got to say here down the road. Becca comes in. "Jay, you are sideways." She was calling you out there at the beginning.
Hey, bro.
But thanks, Becca. We filled it right on in.
Sweetie, that it's your shit that malfunctioned, by the way.
Oh, dang.
I'm going to pay for that one.
Yeah, you are. You're going to get a couple punches.
She's probably going to make you pay with it.
Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
You're in trouble, brother.
You just got the discount double check with that one.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So with that, you got that one. We got Becca back. You just saying that you're back up, and then Becca, with the laughing emojis. A lot of them, it's all about the paycheck. So, yep, she's on the point with that. With what we were talking about early on with the wide receivers and stuff like that with the Packers and getting in there with starting out with football. Mm-hmm. The Chosen One comes in with Aaron Rodgers will choke and will never be Favre. Darrell.
Chosen one. Look, I appreciate you. We appreciate you. We thank you for being a
supporter.
A supporter. That's the word I was looking for. We thank you for being a supporter on the network. I truly appreciate you, brother. I will say this though. All right, if you're putting both of these guys' careers side by side, it's pretty much the same, except Aaron Rodgers is more efficient. Yes, Brett did go to 2 Super Bowls. That's something that has eluded Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw interceptions. He takes care of the football. He has 400 touchdowns, 400 plus touchdowns with only 88 interceptions. The man has been in the league. 17. This is going to be his 17th year. He hasn't thrown 100 picks. Quarterbacks that have been in the league that long are well over 100 picks. He's not there yet. The only other person that's close to that right now is Russell Wilson. Those two guys, quarterback rating wise and efficiency, have been phenomenal. So yeah, I'm not as much as I love Brett Favre. I'm green and gold. I bleed it. I promise you. But I'm not gonna say that he will never be Favre because technically,
what's the one stat that Favre will always lead in?
He has the most interceptions of all time. So you got the most interceptions of all time turning the ball over to a guy who doesn't turn the ball over. But I will give him this. I mean, Brett Favre was special, man.
It comes to this, bro. It comes to this all the time.
And longevity. So like I said, I appreciate that Chosen One. I appreciate that.
I gotta come back to Chosen One with this.
Hell to the no, to the no, no. Hell no, to the no.
I gotta sum it up with what Darrell said. He hasn't thrown that many interceptions. He's a smarter quarterback. However, I'm going to go back to episode 17 with you, Darrell, and bring up the word pussified, because that's what sports are nowadays compared to what Brett Favre had to deal with back in the day. Yeah, so when Brett Favre's getting rocked around and smacked around like he was, of course he's going to throw an underhanded interception every now and then when he's trying to make a play. So I'm gonna have to give him some props there. However, Aaron Rodgers will eventually be better than Brett Favre. I feel like Aaron Rodgers will eventually get that second Super Bowl that Brett Favre eluded him that he tried to get at the very end. So
when he goes to a different team.
Shut up, Jay.
I don't think so. He signed that 4-year contract and
he's done, man. He's done. He's done. So,
and if Aaron Rodgers actually left the team, this is what would be on his mind. Because Aaron Rodgers wouldn't care. That's why he would leave. And when we don't have somebody that doesn't care, this is what also happens.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I mean, come on, guys.
Time for that. That's great.
Becca chimes back in with the Bojangles. Lost it with the Bojangles. That was a great one with the Bojangles, Jay. That was great.
I'm just gonna, because that was actually Darrell's daughter's fault.
Bojangles.
Bojangles?
Oh no. We'll explain afterwards.
We'll explain afterwards. That's great.
Okay. The chosen one comes back with playoff Lenny should now be sideline Flabby.
Whoa, that's a good one, chosen one.
Sideline Flabby. We might have to use that in an article or two, and just we'll give you credit, chosen one. I like that one. TB12 plays to 50. He says. I mean, he's getting closer. He's getting closer to that.
I'm in on that.
Yeah, next year.
I'm in on that.
Becca, but cannot sign JPP.
Oh,
yep, because we're all those people we were talking about. She acknowledges, they can't sign JPP, but you're picking up all these hand-me-downs. Trade, you get all these retreads instead of JPP.
As soon as they say JPP, she screams through JPP.
I wonder if that's what people said when the firework was going off. Saying JPP, put it down.
Yeah, no, they were saying back up, turn back up.
Hey, did you see that tweet where that kid that played for a Florida school had an extra finger, and he's like, "Hey, lend a brother a digit." I was like, wow.
Oh man,
that's great.
Becca says, "Give me JPP," and she says that she's sure that the Cowboys could use JPP.
They wouldn't know what to do with him.
The Arlington Desperados.
I love that name. Y'all be calling it the Arlington
Desperados.
Oh, that's because Darrell gets threatened with these.
Yeah. I've been threatened a few times. I was told, Drew, that I'm not allowed to pick the Arlington Desperados in any situation. But I will also say, when I picked them last year, at one point I was undefeated. I was with correct. So I will only throw that out there. But still,
hold on.
Well, fans, you did great with the comments throughout the first half of the show. Definitely keep them coming so we can acknowledge them here at the end. But we have 2 more rounds we got to get into. With round 4 is a pretty interesting one where we go to the by the numbers segment. Let's see what we got for this one.
Round 4.
And with round 4, we take this into the by the numbers segment. John Smoltz is the greatest athlete to ever wear the number 29 in all of sports. Darrell, take this off first. How do you feel about this? Are you in or are you out on John Smoltz being the greatest one to ever wear the number 29?
All right, so this was a tough one, and this is another one I debated. So I'm going to say I'm in. All right, so this is why I'm in on it. I had to really think about this, because when I went to go do my research on people that were like 9, there's not a lot of like big names. There's one name that was mentioned, I believe, with Lamont, and that was Catfish Hunter. He obviously wanted to number 29 at some point. He's such a big name in Major League Baseball and all his accolades. And then there was Eric Dickerson. Really wanted to go there. But John Smoltz, to me, and the reason why I give it to him is because when you go back and look at it, this man's like an 8-time All-Star, World Series, champ. I believe he's got a Cy Young in there. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, and then I do apologize if I am. But the biggest part of that is this man was a solid starter for years. And a lot of people can do that switch over and move from a starter to a closer and be just as dominant and make all-star appearances in there. So I'm in, man. I'm gonna give Smoltz his love, man. I've always been a John Smoltz fan, even though when I wasn't a huge Brave fan growing up. So Smoltz for me, I'm in on it.
How do you feel about this, Jay? Or do you agree? Where are you out?
Well, I'm gonna give one shout out because number 29 is what I wore when I was in high school. Eric Berry. I love Eric Berry. He ended his career as comeback player of the year, but he was never right after his battle with cancer. Having done that, have mad respect for him. But I am out because for me, Rod Carew is the greatest to ever wear the number 29. 18-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, number retired for 2 franchises. I mean, 18-time All-Star. Come on, man.
That's a lot of all-stars. That's a lot.
As a Braves fan, I want to say in.
I know you do.
And agree with Darrell. However, I got to side with Jay on this, and he stole the words out of my mouth. I'm out. You know, Jay brought it by the numbers here, literally. This guy was an 18-time All-Star from 1967 to 1984, the 1977 AL MVP, 1967 AL Rookie of the Year award went to him, as well as the Roberto Clemente Award in 1977, a 7-time AL batting champion. The Minnesota Twins and the Los Angeles Angels are who his number are retired by. Smoltz, you brought up a lot of great points, Darrell, and as a fan of the Braves, and I really want to go there, and that's why I kind of threw that curveball out there with this topic. However, just even though, and if I'm definitely going to stick within baseball, and I got to go historian-wise, I got to agree with Jay here and pick Carew here. That longevity of that career, he played in 3 different decades. Got to give it to Carew.
Yeah, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, one of the best baseball players, though, that I love to watch was Adrian Beltre. He played with fun and passion. I know you hate him because he didn't play well for you guys.
He lied about his age.
Trash in Seattle. He was trash in Seattle, Drew. He was absolute trash in Seattle. This man came to Seattle, took all of our money. He took all of our money, Drew. He took all of our money.
Wait, are we talking about Robinson Cano?
Don't get me started on Robinson because he's another one. He came in there, Drew, took all of our money, and then had the nerve to go to Boston and win a World Series like the next year. I was pissed. Oh, I'm still mad at him. So yeah, he's a great player, but bump Adrian Beltre. That's how I feel about it. He's trash.
You know, there's one person we left off the list too. With all the people we named, though, we forgot about Fred McGriff, who wore 29 as well. The Crime Dog, where he played with the Braves as well.
Drew, I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw it, Drew, and I said, nah, I Crime Dog my dude, because every time I think of the Crime Dog, I think of
Oh yeah, well,
the training video.
See, I thought about him, but the thing that killed me with him is he didn't win. If I remember correctly, he won his World Series with like the Marlins, right? Not with the Braves.
No. He was with them in '95.
I think it was with the Braves.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He came to the Braves. He was with the Blue Jays before they won the World Series, I want to say. Right. I think he came to the Braves right before that. Or he was with the Padres. He went from the Blue Jays. I'll have to look it up. I just know he played for the Blue Jays and the Padres before then. He did, and then he played for he was one of the first Tampa Bay Devil Rays as well.
Yeah, he was.
Wade Boggs. Okay. He was one of the 2 all-star they brought in 2 big names, or 3. They had Wade Boggs, they had Fred McGriff, and Jose Canseco for that inaugural year.
Sheesh. Oh, Wade Boggs, man.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Didn't he steal a horse once?
I wouldn't doubt it.
No, when he was with the Yankees and he took a horse around the field.
He did.
He was friends with Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and Kurt Hennig. There's a story about on one of his biographies that he saved Wade Boggs' life. They were hunting or something like that. He separated his shoulder or something happened where he would have bled out to death if it weren't for Mr. Perfect throwing him over his shoulder like a lumberjack, carrying him like 10 miles to the next person's house or something, like, because they were way out in some type of wood area hunting or something. You guys got to find it. But Wade Boggs gives mad respect to Mr. Perfect, man.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Well, did you look up Rod Carew's heart transplant and read that story? That one will get you in the fields.
Okay. Speaking about in the fields for the final fields, we've got one more round to go into, fellas. Let's take this into a very, very impactful one for the last round.
Final round.
And here in the final round, Brittany Griner should have done her research on Russian laws before signing that contract to play overseas. How do you feel about this, Jay? Are you in or are you out on this?
I'm in 100%. I mean, having family in Michigan, I know what they can do in Michigan with that substance. If you cross into Indiana with that substance, Indiana will arrest you. And that's in the continental U.S. Now you're in a different country, different continent, the whole shebang. Yeah, you needed to do your research, know where you stood, because I mean, you're looking at a long time in a very uncomfortable place. From what I've read, a 5 foot tall cage, and this woman's like almost 7 foot tall. That's gotta suck.
Absolutely. Darrell, how do you feel about this? Are you in or are you out on this one?
I'm in. Look, when it comes down to it, I understand why she went over there. The WNBA don't pay. it just don't pay. And unfortunately, the league is, it feel like the league is all the headlines always are never where they need to be. It's always about them wanting more money. It's never about the play of the women. It's always something different. So I understand why she went over there, but I am in on the fact that before you sign a contract, going to another country, you have to know what your surroundings are. You have to know the situations around there. You put yourself in a bad spot. And, obviously here, I mean, you can go willy-nilly, go out here and smoke, do whatever you want for the most part when it comes to vaping. But you got to be careful about that when you're in foreign countries, man. Like, that's not got to be the first thing you do. If I go to if Darrell Owens says, hey, man, I'm going to go to the Middle East, just to say, the first thing Darrell Owens is going to do is find out what customs I don't mess up so I don't get myself, put in jail or whatever other crazy things they do. Now, I want to see her come home. I mean, she's an American. I want to see her come home. And, and in our eyes, it's a petty thing. It is. In our eyes, it's a petty thing. It's like, man, we do that all the time. But you do have to be respectful of other countries. Not everybody is the United States. So I'm definitely in. You got to pay attention to that stuff, Brittany. But I do want to see you come home, though.
Yeah, I've got to agree with both of you guys on this. I'm the same way. I'm in on this as well. You guys both summed it up, and I've even said it on previous episodes, basically like my final word, bonus topic, or whatever. This is something that I can't let go until we actually get a resolution for it. And I'm not trying to do this politically. I'm just trying to make a point that it's like people in no matter what walks of life, no matter what you're doing, when you sign your name to something, you need to know what you're signing. You need to read the fine print. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. Right. So if I'm going to go to a different state and work, I want to know what I'm doing. So that way, what I'm doing here in Virginia may not work in Tennessee or another country or another state. And especially when you're leaving the US of A, right. Especially when you have been as vocal as you are about certain things you don't agree with within the United States. And then they hear this and they translate that to where if she's going to disrespect her own country like that, we definitely got to make an example out of her now. So that's
why would they go to bat for her?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So this is my point. Like, you didn't read the fine print, you didn't behave yourself. Now you're stuck in limbo when you went there for a few $1,000s to put some, put a little bit on top of what you're making. You would have been better off working at the grocery store, smoking weed during 420, staying home and making a few extra bucks. I mean, think about it. I'm joking in some aspects, but I mean, let's be serious here. Like, you could have done a couple part-time jobs, deliver some pizza, hell, work for DoorDash. I don't care. But you could have made good enough money being back here doing something other than basketball, but you're trying to go after one thing, which is your one true trade. You should have tried and ventured out doing something else. Be a philanthropist. Do something. Write a damn book. Write a book while you're in jail now because of what you just did. I don't know, but you're going to have to do something to get some other income in because you're screwed now.
Got to be down. Ain't got enough room.
I think in the end, Drew, like, I think it's a tough one because as an American, most people want to be like, look, man, bring our person home, bring her home. They don't care what it matter, what they did, just bring them home. Let us deal with it. And that's always been our mindset. But, in this situation, it's a tough one. We got war situation going. I don't care what anybody says. I feel like it's part of it because I feel like if they would have, I think if there's no war going on, she's already home. She's already home. The United States and Russia have already worked this out. She's already home. But because their war is going on and the United States have already kind of taken a side on this bad boy, I know that it's part of it. And unfortunately, she's just, she's a prisoner of war. And I try not to, I don't want people to think, oh, well, she didn't go into battle. I know that. But she technically, in this case, if you look at it, she's a prisoner of war. They're using her, to.
She is a pawn of the power play.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the best way I can
put
it.
My brother and I talked about it earlier, and he's like, you should do this, but is it fair for them to use her as a bargaining chip? No,
Right.
it's not.
Not
He's
at
like,
all.
because if she was home, she'd have paid a fee, she'd be out, everything be done. We'd never heard maybe but a little blip about it.
Right.
So
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's sad when we have to have politics be a part of this, and no matter, and it's like what LT and I were saying yesterday in the final word part of it. It's like it's no matter where you fall, whether it's left or right. Everybody in America, it feels some type of way about this one topic. All right, we got to get some type of resolution. The right thing needs to happen here, but at the same time, justice needs to be served at the same time, because you should have, in some type of coaching or therapy, like you need to be a little bit more aware of what yourself getting yourself into. You're not a child anymore, and I think this has definitely been a big wake up call for Brittany Griner.
Definitely.
So with that, we've had a great show so far, guys. We've gone through 5 rounds. We've got a couple comments left here in the Mayhem Culmination. So for those of you fans who are still watching, get your last thoughts out as we wrap up episode 29. Let's take this into the Mayhem Culmination. Here in the Mayhem Culmination, we like to acknowledge the comments from the fans. So those of you who are still watching here live, get your comments in. Right now, we have a couple BCQ comments again. You better watch it, Darrell. You're going to get Jay beat with the broom tonight, man. I don't know what
sorry,
to say.
Jay.
No,
I'm
time
calling
out.
you out.
I got a wellness
Actually,
check.
my wife does not project her anger. If I do something, I deserve it. But she saves that shit up for him.
That's great. Look,
My wife is an equal opportunity whooping asser.
you know I love you. I will send the wellness check a little bit later.
Me, I'll be
Well.
fine. I got a house key to your house, remember?
Well, come on in, brother.
No. I'm gonna give it to the wife and send her on the way.
You know what? That ain't right.
Yeah.
I got a feeling this is what she's going to be saying to you here in a minute.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We
Love
got
my wife.
another comment from the chosen one. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Chosen one, you're a little harsh today, man. Just straight
I was
throwing it
gonna
out there.
say-
Brett Favre and now Brittany Griner, man. You're just laying it on thick, my man. Like, this is how he feels about it.
Not trying to be mean, but again, if the crime was in the U.S., it'd be a different outcome. Just saying.
Yeah, most definitely.
True.
It wouldn't be the same dream.
Or if she was in Australia and got caught with it, you're banned from the country. Send her home.
Yep.
Facts. He comes back right away with this. Play it again. I guess you really liked it that bad, but we're not going to play it again. Anyway, I'll play this, though.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, no, to the no, no.
I love that guy. Every time I hear, it's funny. Like when that meme all came from like Dallas Cowboys. It was like a Dallas Cowboy meme. Oh, my fault. Arlington Desperado. but I mean, I was just stating what it was from. That's all. Just stating what it's from. I'm not picking anybody back. I promise. But yeah. So I mean, he's great. God rest his soul. The bishop. You brought millions of laughs, brother. Millions of laughs.
There's no one that drips more swag than Bishop Bullwinkle once
Bishop,
did.
baby.
So you got to give it love, just like LT said about the Velvet, bringing that up yesterday. So you had to.
Velvet.
So that being said, we have to acknowledge that Jay has finally, since he has been a part of this episode,
come on
it is time. It is time to get Jay in. Jay is finally now locked in the vault. Jay Quimby with his first ever time is now here. Jerry Y. Quimby is now locked in the vault.
Brother.
The nachos are ready.
The nachos are ready.
BCQ's there ready for the snuggles. You are finally here in the vault with episode 29 here in the first 30 episodes. Darrell's right there for the second time. He's now a 2-time Vault of Fame inductee. Congratulations to you two who are now added on to this list of the previously named with episode 29, the first ever duo to be a part of the Trios edition on the In or Out Sports Debate.
I love the 29 beside my name.
It looks good.
I feel like I'm 1998 all over again.
Well, guys, we've got one last part to get into, and that is the final word. Let's go ahead and get our last thought out on this show. And out of all the things that we have discussed on the show so far, Jay, what would you like to get out or for your final word? If there's something that you forgot or just anything in sports in general, the floor is yours.
Does it got to be sports? Because I wanted to play off something that you said earlier about, left, right, because,
Sure, go ahead.
We got to start looking at people as people again, being kind to one another, because, not based off of who you voted on in the last election. The world needs that back to become the place it once was, because the chaos, the hate is getting us nowhere but, farther down the rabbit hole. Love one another, appreciate each other. If you disagree, doesn't mean I have to agree with you. Just let it be.
I like it.
Yeah.
Definitely a great way to take the final word. Darrell, where do you want to take this at for your final word? You want to do piggyback off? Or you want to keep it within sports? This floor.
I got some sports stuff here. Some promo stuff. I was going to say. First of all, something I forgot on number 29, and how dare. And I knew I was going to say something about it, but right there, baby, Nate McKinnon. Got to go ahead and give love to my man. What? Maybe not the greatest of all time yet. Maybe the greatest hockey. No, can't even say that because there's a couple of great hockey. Paul Stanley. I don't want to give disrespect there. But I do want to say I want to give love to Nate McKinnon on that one. Thank you, brother. Thank you for finally getting us cup number 3. So I throw that out there. Now, with all that being said, promos. I just want to give love to some of the other shows here on the network. Make sure you get an opportunity to check out Monster Minutes on the weekend. Becca's, rocking and rolling either on Saturday or Sunday. Yesterday, our man Victor Herrera just had an interview with the University of Texas San Antonio head coach, women's golf head coach, Summer Batiste. Great interview by Vic. Good job, Vic. This week, we got Commonwealth Sports Talk coming on Thursday. Joe D is sitting down with Ahmad Hawkins, who former UVA wide receiver. He's a UVA personality. He's got a great podcast called the Ball Hawk Podcast. That's going on. Me and Jay are coming back tomorrow for episode 297 of the LegacyMaker Sports Podcast. Tomorrow, we're talking about the NFC South. So I guess the talk about Julio Jones and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will continue tomorrow. And of course, in or out, great job, Drew. Hard work. Love to see it. We got to keep pushing. I think everybody's doing a great job on the network. I'm proud of every single one of y'all.
Yeah, our views are through the roof. Our numbers keep going. So, everybody keeps doing their bit. Share, like.
Proud of y'all.
Stock. I mean, do your thing.
Stock was a Walmart. Proud of everybody though. Really, I feel like that needs to be said. Just hard work on everybody's part. Like I said, Drew, very impressed with what you've been doing the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months, I should say, and just keep rocking and rolling on that. Just proud of everybody. Everybody's just been putting in that effort, man. We was at ACC Media Day last week, had a great time doing that with Justice and Jay and myself. Jay was on there trying to look sexy on TV. Drew, you should have seen it.
Oh my God! Now I will say, I'm going to give Darrell credit on something, because he told me. He's like, success is on the other side of fear. And I was so scared to get up and be on TV and ask questions. And once I broke that, dude, they couldn't get me to shut up. Then he was on there 3 times.
He even got a dirty look from the Miami Hurricanes head. My man looked at him like, you tired of, are we done talking about this subject? We're like, yes, yeah, okay. As long as you answer my question. That's all I care about.
I mean,
y'all killed it last week. That was great stuff to watch. Thank you guys for doing that and being a part of that, and definitely giving us more content. Like you said, like Jay said too, the numbers are climbing. And when you go back and you look on it, today is actually the 3-month anniversary. The 4-month anniversary of when I brought In or Out back for
Has it
episode
been
6.
4 months already?
It's only been 4 months, and we brought back episode 6. And like I tell everybody, episode 6 was a dumpster fire. Okay, so with my final word, I'm going to take this into another realm since we're nearing episode 30 with this. So with that, I'm going to take this one into, you go back and you watch episode 6. It was a complete dumpster fire. I got to give a shout out to Darrell and Jay here for allowing me to use this platform here to stream live. I mean, I've got a lot of history, a lot of knowledge when it comes to producing video productions. However, when I go back and I edit something that I record, I treat it like a Lucasfilm production. It's like a mother-fathering project for the next 2 days where I'm spending there just going in over and over and over again, where I can just prepare a live stream and go live. It's just as close to what I would do if I were to edit it. Very few mistakes because all my guests have been great. All of you that I acknowledge in the Vault of Fame have been great. Thank you from 1 to now, all of you. There's no exception to any one of you. No matter how many times you've been on or how little you've been on, you've all played a part in this. So for my final word and for the fact that we are almost at 30 episodes when we just had episode 6 back 4 months ago after taking a 7th-month break. And before that, for that one episode, we had a 15-month break. So there was no consistency on my part. I was dropping the ball a little bit. However, it was the pandemic. I'm not going to make excuses, but we've had a lot happen in the past 2 years since I started it. So, but the ball is rolling. This project is steamrolling. We've had a blast. I got you guys on here today. So with my final word, I just want to give acknowledgement to all of you who have taken your time to be here with me to have a blast. I hope I've made it just as fun as what the plans looked like beforehand, because that is my intention every single time we have the In or Out Sports Debate. So for my final word, I just again want to give acknowledgement to you guys for taking the time to have a blast with me here.
I appreciate it, man.
Anytime, man. We'll definitely have to do it again. And I'm going to have a little bit of a hiatus for like a week or two, because I got to get some other stuff done. But that's why we'll have the volumes of the best of. We'll come back with some announcements, some other In or Out Sports Debate. And I'll actually, for those of you who are watching right here for the final word, you'll get the sneak peek. We have a special next 5 episodes. We have Legacy coming back for 1. We have the Undisputed Champions are going to be on for the 2nd ever Trios edition. We're going to have Mike Bish, Cody Stewart, and Paul Schofield come up in here. For 3 separate episodes. I'm not trying to have myself chaos in one episode.
I was going to say, damn.
Welcome to the 4-hour show, bro.
However, they will all be within 24 hours of each other. I believe Cody's going to be on a Monday, and Mike Bish and Paul Schofield will have the double debate Tuesday the following. So it's going to be an awesome month of August. Those guys will be kicking off the month of August after next week. So we've got a lot of great shows in store. But like I said, it takes 2, or now with the Trios edition, 3 to tango. So thank you guys for being here.
No
we
problem.
Really have one more thing.
This guy out here talking about threesomes.
Oh, my man. I wouldn't even go try to take it in that way. But hey, let your mind wander however you want. It's 2022. Nobody cares anymore. We'll just put it with this. We do have one more comment to acknowledge before we wrap it up. The Chosen One comes back again and says, "Great show, guys. Thanks for the laughs." Hey, if you're not having fun, it's definitely work, and we don't want to have it be work
for you. It's not the thing for you if you're not having fun. It's not the thing
What's
for
the
you
point?
fun. Exactly.
All of our work goes into before the show starts with the prep. Then we can just let it roll. So not many jobs we can just let it flow and not be scripted, like the WWE straight script. Well, maybe not as much now since Vince is gone, but we'll see what Ellis has to say about that here in a little bit. Ellis will be on here in about 45 minutes for episode 30. So with that being said, guys, let's take it into one more badass outro. Thank you guys for being here for episode 29. For the legends, Mr. Rollback, Darrell Owens, and the man who punched cancer in the mother face and said, "You are not going to take me out." One of the strongest people I know, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. We are out of here with episode 29. Thank you.